2024. My name is Josh Halaka, Chair for the Libertarian Party of Florida, and at this time, I'm calling this executive committee meeting to order here. Right there, so we can do roll call, introduction of guests. Ms. Gansky, when you're ready, you may go ahead with that.
Sure, give me one sec. I have a very sore throat right now. All of a sudden, it just happened. So bear with me. Josh, you're present, right, Josh? You were just
Very, very clearly present.
Matt Johnson.
I'm here. Sorry, I was muted.
I'm here. Joe Sokol.
Here.
I guess I got to start especially saying Joe last name. Ed.
Present.
Scott.
Here.
Lee.
Present.
Mr. Hanush.
Here.
Joey Ferguson. I really have to say Joe. Robert. Leon.
I'm here.
DL.
Present.
Andrew Parrott.
Here.
Oh, your thing just says Parrott. Beth.
Here.
David Mosgrip.
Here.
Eric Montgomery.
Here.
Chris Allen. James.
Here.
John. Half.
Here.
Is that you on the phone?
Yep.
Okay. Deanna is excused. She asked me to be her proxy. Hector. If anyone wants to reach out to Robert or Hector, please do so.
Ms. Gansky, there should be an email from a day or two ago that I forwarded to you where Mr. Roos was requesting an excused absence, which I granted. So he's excused from this one.
I don't see it. He should always email the secretary, but I'll let that one go. I didn't get that message.
As the chair, I forwarded to you, Ms. Gansky. If it didn't get to you, I'm very sorry.
Okay, if you could shoot it over again when you get time, that'd be awesome. But moving forward, we have 2 excused absences and 2 absent. So you guys do the math. That's we're missing 4. So 17 are here. Is that right? Sanity, check my math.
Yep, that sounds about correct there.
Great.
All right.
So that
Awesome.
means 9 is majority, right?
Yes, ma'am. That's what. All right, but the important thing is that we have quorum here, so we can get into the meeting here. So next up on the agenda would be item 4, public comment here. Does anybody not on the executive committee, not a committee chair either, have anything they would like to address with the executive committee? I don't see anyone who is not EC or committee chair, so at the risk of me missing somebody, I'm going to move along with business since we don't have anybody from the general membership in the gallery here. So then we can get on to item 5, which is the approval of the agenda here. The chair at this time will entertain a motion to approve this agenda.
So motioned.
All right, it was moved by Mr. Pinkowski. I don't know. Somebody seconded. It might have been
Yeah,
Ms.
I
Gansky.
seconded. It was
Okay, Miss Gansky seconded here.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
as is probably to be expected, motion to amend the agenda to strike the LNC report, the officers report, committees, region rep reports, except for the following that are not currently in bulletin board or have been emailed to the EC. That would be affiliate support, convention, LAC, platform, treasurer, fundraising, region 3, 9, and 10. I have also posted that into the chat, but I would also like to add a discussion of the convention committee of no more than 15 minutes to the chair's consent agenda.
Seconded by Path.
All right, I am going to accept that by Mr. Path and Mr. Johnson, although I am going to motion myself to amend the amendment there because we can't add the discussion to the chair's consent agenda because that has to be new business there. So I'm going to move to amend the amendment to change the position of that discussion from the chair's consent agenda to the second item of new business here.
Works for me. I'll second that amendment then.
All right, awesome there. Is there any objection to that amendment, to the amendment real quick?
I'm just gonna add that to the top of the list. That's cool, right?
That's fine by me.
Okay.
All right there. Hearing no substantial objections, the amendment to the amendment passes. So we're going to be striking all except the mentioned reports and then adding a discussion to new business about the convention committee not to last more than 15 minutes if I got all that correct there. Now, right there, and for those who are wondering what reports we'd be hearing tonight, all of those are in the chat. Is there any objection to the striking of all of the reports except for the ones listed in the chat and to add the discussion for the convention committee?
I think we should, can I make an amendment here?
Sure.
I'd like to hear the fundraising. Oh, no, that's in there. Never mind.
It's in
Forget
there.
I said anything. I didn't see it.
Okay. Is there any objections to the amendment to the agenda as presented? Hearing no objection, the amendment passes. We've struck all but the listed reports there, added a discussion to the convention committee, no more than 15 minutes to the chair's consent agenda. Is there any further amendments to the agenda? All right. Hearing no further amendments here, is there any objection to the amended agenda as currently presented? All right, hearing no objections. Amendment passed. We have an agenda now, ladies and gentlemen, a little bit shorter than it was originally, but we're going to move along here. Next item on the agenda is item 6, approval of the LPF EC minutes for October 2024.
Hey, Josh, sorry.
Yes.
Did we have to go back and approve that? Did we have to do the approval of the amended agenda, or am I missing something?
You missed the part where I asked if there was any objections, waited about 10, 15 seconds in silence, and then said,
I thought
okay.
that it got amended, but then nobody else approved it. Maybe I'm forgetting, but I thought we had to formally.
I mean, nobody objected, Ms. Gansky. I mean, if we want to go back and have everybody do a voice vote, I mean, sure, why not? Let's go back for Ms. Gansky and let's do the voice vote here, guys. All in favor of the agenda as amended, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. All right, now we have a formal amended agenda there. Awesome. Not a problem. Let's move on to item 6 now, approval of the LPF EC meeting minutes for October 2024. Is there a mover for this?
I'll move.
All right, Mr. Johnson moves. Do I have a second?
Second, Appler.
All right, Mr. Appler seconds. Is there any discussion on the meeting minutes from last meeting, guys? Hearing no discussion, is there any objection to the meeting minutes as presented here? Going once, going twice. Hearing no objection, Meeting minutes passed. Our October meeting minutes are now official. Item 7 is the LNC report here. We have struck that from the agenda. Item 8 is the committee reports here. We're going to go in order here. So the first one that was not struck was Affiliate Support Committee. I do not see Mr. Cordova on the call, so we will circle back around to him if he does join. Next up is Convention Committee, Gabriel Wozniak. I do not see Gabe here either. So once again, we will circle back around and get the.
If we want to hear something, the vice chair of that committee is in fact on the meeting.
All
Just
right.
a heads up. We don't have to if she doesn't feel like it, but just pointing it out.
I figure since we're going to already have a 15-minute discussion in the in new business here, that we can get into that minutia at that time there. Nobody has any objections. All right, we're going to talk about convention, guys. Don't worry, we're going to get to that there. It's just not going to be here. Next up, Legislative Action Committee. I do not see Mr. Vincent on the call tonight. Once again, we will circle back around if we do get to that. Platform, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't had a platform committee for almost 3 years. We have the best platform for any state affiliate in the entire 51 state affiliate system. I have other state affiliates who've legitimately said that they're want to copy ours verbatim, even leave Florida in there, even though they're not from Florida. So there is not a platform committee. The platform is amazing. Don't change it. It's friggin' great. There's the platform report. I'm going to give it there. So we're going to move along now to officer reports here. We did leave the treasurer's report. Mr. Sokol, I see you are on the call. So when you are ready, sir, you have the floor. Go ahead.
Okay, I posted the October all the reports there, the bank statements. I have nothing right now, but if anybody has any questions.
Is there questions for Mr. Sokol?
I don't know that he's actually going to be able to answer any questions that have already been raised, given he's already sent the letter and nobody's responding to it. Yeah, but regarding the Snyder campaign and the return of that would be the only question I think anybody has right now. It's concerning, but
yeah, I sent that letter. I'm actually out of town till the 20th, but you could track it online, and the online U.S. Postal Service says it was sent back to me, that address. So that's all I have on that.
All right. Well, thank you for the feedback there, Mr. Sokol. Is there any, Ms. Gansky, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, and if we're better off talking about it at the end, then by all means tell me. But regarding the Schneider address change or whatever, would it be prudent for us to nudge this to David? Maybe Casey has some feedback for us, or Vincent. Either of them are attorneys, so they may have some ideas of what we should do next.
I mean, that is a possibility. I can't speak for either Mr. Vincent or Mrs. Moscrip, but it's absolutely a possibility that we could have that discussion with them and figure out if there is a pursuable course of action there. So I mean, I can't answer. I'm not Rob, unfortunately, but I do think that there's probably something there. It's just a matter of figuring out how to approach it exactly. All right. Any further discussion for the treasurer before we move along, guys? Mr. Kortzer, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, quick question regarding those $1,000 a month payments that we were receiving. Have they continued on schedule?
Yes, they have. One more to go at the end of this month, but they've been on schedule every month.
Thank you.
All right. Awesome to hear that there. Any further questions or discussion comments? All right. Hearing and seeing none. Thank you, Mr. Sokol. Appreciate your report there. Next on the list, it looks like I actually missed one with fundraising. Mr. Roos is going to be absent tonight there, so we will have to circle back around to him at a later time there. Probably the next committee chairs meeting in December would probably be the best time to poke at Mr. Roos for whatever we need. Region 3 report is Mr. Vincent. He is not on the call tonight, so we will have to double circle back around the Rob if he hops on here. Region 9 is Eric Montgomery. There's Mr. Montgomery. Go, sir, you are here. When you're ready, you have the floor. Go ahead.
With all the circle back going on, I'm getting dizzy, but I've been really busy. I'm fighting with my HOA. I'm running for the board, and we had our annual meeting last week and we didn't have a quorum. So I'm working on that to try to hold a seat we can say is libertarian. The HOA I belong to has more homes in it than the town I grew up in. So I think these kind of jobs, positions are important. And I've been working on that as well as finalizing all my campaign budgets and forms. Nothing much else is going on, or that I can get to.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Montgomery. Is there any questions or comments for the Region 6 rep, or excuse me, Region 9 rep?
Thank you.
All right. Hearing and seeing no questions or comments here, we'll move along to Region 10, which is Mr. Allen. I do not see Mr. Allen on the call. May have to go back and look at his history. I believe he has missed a couple calls now. He might be due for the automatic removal clause potentially. So if anybody is friends with Mr. Allen or has contact with him outside of here, definitely reach out, let him know that we need him to start showing up here. Otherwise, he could potentially be removed. But that looks like it clears out all the way down with reports here. Item 11 is the chairman's consent agenda. Nothing this month, it looks like, so we're going to move along from that. Item 12 is new business. It's the first off election of a deputy treasurer here. Is there anybody looking to nominate or seek the position of deputy treasurer? All right. Hearing and seeing no one here, we will move along to item B under new business, which is motion number 844. Title is
Josh?
to approve. Yes.
Sorry, I inserted the convention committee discussion right after that election. Is that okay?
I mean, I think we can knock out 844 pretty quickly. It seems
Okay,
a pretty
that's fine.
uncontroversial motion. So, I mean, let's take the 45 seconds, a minute, and knock this out real quick here. So, the title is Approve LPF's NDA for Data Use and Access to Nation Builder. The mover was Mr. Johnson on behalf of the Communications Committee. Mr. Johnson, just for proprietary and record-keeping purposes, was this approved and moved out of your committee?
Yes, sir. It was voted unanimously.
Beautiful. Since it was moved by committee there, it does not require a second for this motion. Mr. Johnson, I'll give you a quick moment to speak on behalf of the motion for your committee here, and then we'll get into discussion and vote.
Sure. It's pretty cut and dry and pretty simple. We had an NDA that was sent down by the LNC when we were using their Civi CRM, obviously to protect the data. It's the same premise here. We've got Nation Builder that we pay a lot of money for, our data that we as the party own, and we've had a lot of people request access to Nation Builder who are new affiliates or new chairs of affiliates or whatever the case may be. And this is simply to get the ball rolling so that the LPF's data is protected legally, and then we can get them access to what they need within the CRM. And that's pretty much what we're going for here, just to make sure nobody abuses our data. We don't have new people sending unsolicited business emails to our data or things of that nature.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. don't believe this is a super controversial or crazy motion here, guys. Without bias in the board, I always think it's good to protect, the data we have. It is an asset of ours. So, is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing and seeing no request for discussion. Let's try to do this the easy way, guys. Is there any objection to this motion as presented? Going once on objections, going twice on objections. Hearing no objections, motion passes. Like I said, wasn't super controversial. Figured it would get through quickly here. We move on to item C, which we added on as an amendment here, which was a discussion of the convention committee to last no more than 15 minutes here. So let me set my timer real super duper quick here. And so let's get into it real quick here, guys. I've been getting a plethora of feedback, and I don't mean to steal your thunder, Mr. Johnson or Mrs. Johnson here.
Have at it, sir.
But I've been receiving, guys, a phenomenal amount of feedback, not only from the EC and committee members on this committee, but general membership within the party who are very concerned about the direction and leadership of the convention committee. Now, I've only been there for a scant few meetings. The committee will, can verify that. So I don't know the minutia details of things, which I'll let Mrs. Johnson get to in a quick minute here, or Mr. Johnson as the vice chair. But the feedback I'm getting, guys, is super concerning. We're having issues of not having a real great plan strategy, so to speak. We're chasing what I would think are, very ambitious opportunities that I don't think are realistic, and that when we are told no, we don't take the first no like we probably should. And we're making reaches at, potential guests and draws, quote unquote, that could cost us in the 5 figures, allegedly. So I'm personally very concerned. I've had multiple members of this EC who are very concerned. I know there was outreach to the convention committee chair to be here tonight, which we see he is not, which is continually concerning as he hasn't posted a report in months. So we can have a discussion, guys, but it would be my recommendation as chair that we as a executive committee should more than likely remove Mr. Wozniak as the chair and elect a new convention committee chair, whether it's tonight or at a future meeting, irrespective. But I am of the belief at this time, and we can discuss it after this, that I believe it is the duty of this executive committee to remove the current chair of this committee, this standing committee, and replace them with a different chair so that we can make sure we have as great of a convention as we can for 2025, because it is our biggest fundraiser, guys. I hate to say it, but this is how we make money every year. We cannot afford another red convention like we had the last year or two. So, Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, if you'd like to fill in anything I left the gap in, please go ahead.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I don't know if Beth actually wants to get into any details, but I'll just give you I'm like ex officio on the committee, or supposed to be. But I've been left out of everything, the entire process, the entire step of the way by the chair. And I absolutely agree with you. And unless Beth has anything she wants to add, according to our bylaws, I would like to move to suspend the rules to remove the chair of the convention committee.
All right. So before I ask for the second, I just want everybody to understand that Mr. Johnson is suspending the rules to do the thing. So it does require a 2/3 vote, but if we do this, we are going right into the motion to suspend, which would be discussion and then vote. So just want everybody to understand what just happened here, so there's no confusion. But at this time, is there a second to suspend the rules and do the thing? Okay, I heard several seconds there. I'm going to give it to Ms. Gans because she was the. We can give it to Mr. Courts or whatever you want to note there, Ms. Gansky. That's fine, but we do have a second, which is what is important here, guys. Once again, it does require a 2/3 vote here, but All in favor of suspending the rules and doing the thing, which is voting to remove Mr. Wozniak as the chair of the convention committee, please say aye at this time.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed to suspending the rules and doing the thing, please say no. That was unanimous. We are moving into discussion now, guys. So discussion on the topic of removing Mr. Wozniak as the convention committee chair. I think we've said more than we need to say on this at this point here. If anybody has any further details, Ms. Gansky, I do see your hands up. Go ahead.
Just one streamlining thing that we could maybe do. I know there is a vice chair who's willing to step up. Can we make this a motion to appoint her as the chair as at the same time as we remove Gabe?
So I actually don't think that is 100% necessary. I don't have our rules committee chair on the call tonight here, but at the risk of being wrong, I actually do believe per our bylaws that the vice chair automatically, just like the executive committee, auto ascends. So
that was my
in this
understanding
case,
too.
Yeah, so I may be wrong with the bylaws here. If I am, I do apologize. Usually I got Mr. Thompson to tell me no, but usually when I'm wrong, there's about 6 people to tell me I'm wrong because libertarians love telling you when you're wrong. So I'm pretty confident I got the bylaws here. So if Mrs. Johnson does not wish to fill that position, we can absolutely, nominate and elect a different chair for her, and she can remain on as vice chair, as far as if that is her prerogative. But for the sake of continuity, she would immediately ascend in the position of chair since she is the elected vice chair of that committee. Mr. Hanoush, are you going to tell me I'm wrong?
I won't put it that way, but I believe the bylaws or one of the Constitution, standing rules, whatever it is, if you appoint a new chair for the committee, then the former chair is automatically not chair anymore. So that would take care of itself. That's all. Thanks.
Understood. That is a relevant point made. Well played, Mr. Hanoush. 10 points to Gryffindor for that one. Yeah. So I mean, I don't want to amend this because we've already suspended the rules. I don't believe that would be in order to do that. But I think that there is a understanding here on this board that if we do remove Mr. Wozniak, that Mrs. Johnson is going to backfill that role until a time and a place which either she or we deem unnecessary for her to continue to fill that role there. So I'm very confident. I have a lot of faith in Beth to get the job done. And if she's not willing to ride it all the way into the sunset, completely understand. We can absolutely have that conversation and, make sure we nominate somebody in her stead quick, fast, and in a hurry there. But is there any further discussion on the topic at hand, which is the removal of the convention committee chair? All right. Hearing no discussion, guys, we're going to do this by voice vote because this is a removal. So I do like to have a little bit of a record keeping here. A yes vote would be in favor of removing Mr. Wozniak as the chair and letting Ms. Johnson take over. A no vote would be to keep Mr. Wozniak on and let him remain as chair. Is there any questions on what we're voting on before we get to the vote? Hearing no questions.
Did you say simple majority or 2/3 or?
This is a simple majority. The 2/3 was to suspend the rules and do the thing. Now this can pass by a simple majority here. Although I have a funny feeling it's going to pass possibly a little higher. But now I'm prejudicing the board here. Let me not do this. All in favor of removing the convention committee chair, please say aye.
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 All opposed, please say no. It sounds like the ayes have it unanimously. That motion passes. For Mr. Wozniak, we'll reach out, let him know what the situation is. To Mrs. Johnson, thank you for being willing to step up. I saw in the chat that you're here till the end, which I do appreciate there. was going to say that moves us into the end of new business, which moves us into item 13, which is old/unfinished business. I don't believe we have any need for executive session this month here, guys. All the details we usually would go into have been pretty much cut and dry. We know where we're at with things. The, Pachenko Jones situation is about to iron itself out. We got another situation, but, we'll get that figured out eventually here. So if there is no objection, we're going to move on from old and unfinished business into item 14. All right. Item 14 is noticed. The next executive committee meeting is going to be held on December 15th, 2024, here on this same Zoom link there, guys. We next are moving into announcements, but I did see in the chat there, Miss Johnson is willing to give a brief convention update. Is that something the EC would be interested in, or do we want to
I would
get on out of here?
I would be for it.
Yeah,
Just for a real
wanna
quick
hear it.
minute.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Please.
All right. I did say that if the chair got here, we would circle back around to it. The chair is now technically here. So, Miss Johnson, when you're ready, the floor is yours. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll make this very brief. Convention next year is not going to look like what we're used to having because the committee has been extremely hyper-focused on the financial burden and what we need to recoup from the last couple of years. So it's going to look different, but it's still going to be a destination. The hotel, the venue is great. I'm also working with the Spike Cohen camp and You Are the Problem to have Spike and Tasha attend.
Power.
You Are the Power. Sorry, yes. Dave Smith and him mixed up anyway. You Are the Power. Basically, if Spike is the only one we have been given green light to use and abuse him. Their words, not mine, for several different events throughout the weekend. So we're going to maximize on the resources that we have. Again, the venue's great. I think we're gonna give you guys a good convention. Just it's gonna look a little different this year than next year. Oh yes,
Great.
thanks, Matt. I have been told that because Spike is moving more towards You Are the Power event, we will be the only LPF or LP convention he's going to be doing next year. So that's kind of big too.
That is a big deal. I mean, I know Spike has been very hyper focused on You Are the Power organization. So, the fact that he's willing to take some time and come join us there when I'm sure there's 50 other affiliates who are all clamoring for his presence, that it does mean a lot and it doesn't go unnoticed. So that is awesome to hear. So thank you, Miss Johnson. Appreciate that. Look forward to seeing what what the convention does look like when we get to it in June. Outside of that there, guys, we can move into item 15, which is announcements here. 10 minutes for anybody on the EC here to make any announcements, what's going on, affiliates, regions, anything that we're doing, as a organization that you want to know. Here's your chance. All right. Hearing and seeing no one here for announcements, guys. Just want to say it's been a pleasure. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the theme contest, speaking of convention, get your butts over to lpfcon.org/theme_contest and pick a theme. Let's go.
Yep. Don't make me force the Josh Lofka convention 2 on all y'all again.
Is it too early to
upset
offer
about that.
another one?
Not at all. The theme contest goes until as far as I know, the end of December. You can submit one or back one that's already there.
Thank you, sir.
I donated it to the. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm still sore about the Josh Lofka convention not happening because I paid and voted for that one.
I paid and voted for that one too. It's funny how that worked out.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so we have rules this year, just so you know. If you submit something that does not follow the conditions of the theme contest, we will happily take your donation as a donation to the LPF, but you will not be able to submit.
Right. Well, get your themes in, guys. This is another huge fundraiser that we generally make a lot of money off of. It's a lot of fun. You know, we always had the last couple of years have had a lot of fun with it, which is what it's supposed to be. So, you know, once again, there's rules now. Unfortunately, we're trying to be professional, guys. So, you know, don't submit anything that's against the rules. Let's get some stuff out there. I know there's a few fun ones already out. I'm sure we're gonna see some other ones. I know people have been poking around about when's the final date, what's allowed, what isn't allowed. So get them in there. But
Hey,
outside of that, go ahead.
just one more thing about convention. I want to put the feelers out there for any members they want to, or any LPF people that want to donate things for the silent auction. Well, it's not going to be a silent auction, but an auction. We need items to sell off. Also, we're planning for a type of swag bag this year, and sponsors will have the opportunity to put some kind of marketing in the swag bag, and lots more to come on sponsorships, but just to put that out there.
Awesome. I'll be looking out for it. Gonna say I'll probably be putting in for a sponsorship or two myself once they release.
Samesies.
But outside of that, guys, good meeting here. Don't think we got any announcements. I appreciate everybody hopping on tonight on time there. And with that, we get to everybody's favorite item on the agenda, which is item 16, adjournment. At this
Motion to
time, the
adjourn.
chair will
Second.
entertain Mr. Johnson's motion to adjourn. It was seconded by Mr. Koritzer, I heard. Is there any objection to adjournment, ladies and gentlemen? Going once? Going twice? Good to hear. Meeting adjourned, guys. It's been a pleasure.